Alrighty, we are live. As you can hear, thunder maybe. That's my noise filter is filtering that out, as well as the fan. Waiting for YouTube to catch up so I can make sure the audio is working. And it is. So cool, cool, cool. I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you, yes, you, would like to schedule a consultation or assessment with me, free of charge, 100% free of charge, no strings. For that initial consultation, we can do that. You can email me at coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Apologies for missing, I think, most of the shows that I had scheduled for this past week, but I volunteered to work more, and so those opportunities went away. What else did I have to say about myself? Oh, just to tell you where the financial content is. YouTube.com/Coach Steve Money. If you scroll past the Oak Island and the Skinwalker Ranch playlists, you'll see the Ramsey Show After Show and the Answering Your Financial Questions playlists, both right there. And also the music playlist has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. So you can listen to those if you are so inclined. And you can even record them if you're a better singer than me, which most people I think would be. You can certainly record your favorite one of those, and I might play it on the after show. After shows are at 11:07 a.m. or 11:05 a.m. weekdays, right after the Ramsey show is over. And the Answering Your Financial Questions streams that's an 8 p.m. stream. And I do that generally on weekdays that I'm not working at night, and also that I was working earlier during the day and could not do the after show. Okay, too much explanation. Let's get into some questions. Sorry. A little out of sorts today. My many apologies for that. Not dementia, Sid. Not dementia. Let's see. So, questions. We're on reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey. It's the Dave Ramsey subreddit. And for some reason, a lot of people ask questions on there and they're like, I know Dave says blah, 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 blah. And so, yeah, that's the answer. That's not. But what is the non-Dave answer? Why would you go to the Dave? It's illogical. Anyway, you could just go to r/financial bro or r/dumb people with money, that kind of thing. If you wanted other advice. But let's see. We are on RZM5358. That's where we left off. Should I sell my truck to get out of debt? And normally, when somebody, because people don't generally like to give up stuff, especially a man in a truck. Of course, some young ladies, I'm sure, or even old ladies are of any age, are partial to their truck and they love it. But there's a time and a place, especially for, as this one I've already seen, it says 2025. So that's a no. You would not be buying a new vehicle unless you are a millionaire. That's the only way you can handle that much depreciation in any of your assets. Goes down in value too fast. So let's see. Should I sell my truck to get out of debt? As the title states, I recently purchased a new 2025 Ford F-150 with $35K in auto loan at 4.79% APR. I'm now having buyer's regret. Yeah. Because you know darn well you shouldn't have done it. You're on the Dave Ramsey subreddit, and you should know that that would be his advice. You don't finance freaking anything except perhaps a house that you live in. And that's the only thing you finance ever, ever, ever. His advice is really easy to understand. Let's see, as this amount of debt is making me have second thoughts, and now I'm realizing I've likely made an impulsive decision. My question is, should I sell the truck and pay off the debt? Sell the truck and pay off the debt and use the remainder to invest. Is there going to be a remainder? Can you sell it for more than you bought it at this point? We don't know that that's true. I have very little savings right now. Transportation would not be an issue, as my wife has a SUV. It's an SUV that is paid off, that she barely uses. Appreciate any insight and suggestions. Yeah, you were dumb as crap buying that. And a lot of people don't consider this when they find Dave Ramsey and they find the baby steps and they start following the baby steps. And baby steps 2, of course, does say pay off all debt except the house, because that comes in step 6 when you pay it off. You still have to pay the mortgage every month, though. But you just don't put extra to it until you get to step 6. But step 2 says pay off all debt except the mortgage using the debt snowball. And hey, guess what? The advice for financing something is to not do it. And especially since you've only just done it, you might be able to break even on it. You seem to think you're going to get some extra money. I don't know how necessarily, because it loses value as soon as you drive it off the lot. So, but yes, you would sell it and leave the dealership out of it, because they are going to get their hands on some of that money. You do not want to do that. You want to get all of the money that the eventual buyer, and you want that eventual buyer to buy it from you, not from the dealer, after you sell it cheaper to the dealer so the dealer can make money. So that's dumb as crap. But a lot of people don't think about, oh, well, instead of, I say this says pay it off, and I really like my dumbass truck. But what you can do, and is advised, is to undo all the dumb non-Ramsey stuff you did before, such as finance this in the freaking first place. Now, some people will think, oh, well, I should keep that. It doesn't say like how many years this would be paid off in, but the baby step 2 rather, is based on a 3-year maximum. That's as much as you should be in baby step 3. And if you cannot get out of baby step 3 in 3 years, either you have taken out dumbass student loans and now you don't make enough money for whatever reason, whether you graduated or not, you don't make enough money to pay that back very quickly in 3 years. But instead of keeping something like this dumb truck and pay it off, even if you can pay it off in 3 years, why don't you just undo the non-Ramsey thing that you did? And that is buying the truck. And you didn't even need it. So dumb. So dumb. People do this stuff all the time. And that's why Mr. Ramsey will never be out of business. This is Kel Beans 103, pay off mortgage, and we just saw the answer is yes, but only once you are on step 6. Why can I not? Is it not showing step 7 there? Weird. It's not giving me a scroll down bar either. Very weird. All right. Anyway, trust me, step 7 is there. That's build wealth and give, and that's after you, of course, finish steps 4, 5, and 6, which you do all at the same time, unless one or more of those is not applicable. Investing would be, oh, and this person here, back to the truck, my bad, didn't finish with that. You don't invest until you get to step 4. Now, theoretically, You can sell off the truck and hopefully break even, but you don't have a lot of savings right now. You are supposed to have 3 to 6 months of expenses as your full emergency fund in savings, and that's all the savings you have. You do not do investing. That comes after the full emergency fund in step 4. Step 1, 2, and 3, one at a time without even thinking about doing any of the other steps. There's plenty of time to plan for that when you get close to the end of step 3. But people always allow to plan out their whole entire lives first. And of course, they always want to invest before they should. Anyway, pay off mortgage. I'm self-employed, so my monthly income fluctuates. Doesn't matter. That's the beauty of it. No matter what anybody types here, that does not change the Ramsey advice. That is why it is so easy. My husband injures in a workman's compensation incident and is permanently out of work. We will be settling his workers' compensation claim soon for a good amount of money. Great. Not great that he got injured as a workers' compensation incident or got injured at all, but since the injury definitely happened, the employer, if it was something to their neglect, and you can get workers' comp for it, great. Let's see, out of that settlement, we will be paying off all of our debt other than the house, and you should be paying off the house too if you get enough to do it. Or at least you would put whatever extra you have to it. You would follow the baby steps with that money as far up as you can go, the highest number you can go. Our dilemma, that is not how you spell dilemma, it's M-N-A, now is if we pay out the house as well, it would leave us with approximately $80,000 in savings. That sounds fine as a full emergency fund, and that's all of the savings that you should have until you're in baby step 7. Oh, that is more than the 6-month emergency fund. Okay, so what is the problem there? What is the dilemma? Let's see what the dilemma is. Our monthly bills would drop significantly, right? But we would solely be reliant on my fluctuating income. Well, you better be making enough income then. If we don't pay off the house, we can put that money aside and treat it as if my husband is still earning an income over the next 10 years. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I would figure out how to live on your salary. And if that's not possible, then maybe you have too much house. This way we would not be so reliant on my income only if we go that route. How low is your income? And how fluctuating is it? I mean, you can have extra savings as a hill and valley account for the bad months. But if you overall make a good salary per year, that job is fine. But again, you just have the hill and valley account. And for use of when you have bad months, and then you put money into it when you have good months. Where are we? If we go that route, then my goal would be to pay extra toward our mortgage every year as long as my income allows it, so that the house is paid off in 10 years. We currently have 37. We have Thunder as well. 27 years left on the mortgage. My husband's 54. He can start collecting. So you're that old and you just bought a house 3 years ago, which it should have been on a 15. And hey, guess what? Even with his income, could you have afforded the mortgage if it were a 15-year fix? I'm gonna guess not, and that's why Mr. Ramsey has that rule, so you don't buy too much house. I'm guessing you people bought. What do you mean, you people? I mean the people that bought too much house, apparently. That's what it sounds like. I am 50 and still younger than some of us, and will likely still work for the next 15 plus years. We currently invest 15% of our income into retirement. I know the baby steps, and I am essentially at baby step 6. Essentially, You said all of our debt other than the house, so you're full of crap, is what you are. You are essentially, and in any way, there's no way you're remotely on step 6 unless you have misinterpreted the baby steps to say, oh, well, I'm paying off a little bit extra on the house, so that means I'm on step 6. No, you are on the lowest step that applies to you. And so that would be, you should not even be investing at this time. Now, granted, if you're going to get the settlement in a month, there's no need to stop investing for a month. So I would have grace enough to say, fine, you don't have to change anything, and then change it back. But you should not be on there even now. Shouldn't have been investing to begin with. You're doing it wrong. You're not following the Ramsey advice. Where are we? I did open that. There we are. Likely work. And essentially, I know the baby steps. No, you do not. However, throwing that large amount at a mortgage, our interest rate is 4.75% with only, the interest rate doesn't matter. We're not doing debt leverage. We're not comparing that interest to what you could make in the market with it. We're not doing any of that. And Big Thunder, with only my income seems risky. No, the risk happened when you bought a house that you probably almost certainly can't afford, especially now that you're only on your income and it fluctuates. Our situation is not typical, so I am leery about blindly following the baby steps. See, that's where you're dumb as well. People are so dumb, they think their little situation is special. No, it's not. You are thinking about it wrong. You don't know the baby steps. You might have heard of them, but you have no idea because you are on baby step 2 because you have non-mortgage debt. Quit being dumb. Your advice without criticism is much appreciated. That's too late for that. I've already criticized you about how dumb you're being, and you are. I mean, why would you even, you seem to be familiar with Dave Ramsey. What is it that makes you think the way that you think? I don't understand nutty people. Because they just want to do what they want to do. They want to have their house that's too expensive for them. And it may or may not be, but that is just a guess. Especially now that they're down to one income. Guess what? Even with the settlement, guess what? You can't say, oh, the settlement equals his wages. No, you have to treat it like you only have that income, because you only have that income. And you shouldn't have bought, again, what did I say about undoing dumbass stuff you did that would be against the Ramsey advice? And that would be getting a 30-year freaking mortgage because you likely bought a house you cannot afford. Quit being dumb, people. Oh, man. Need to have somebody, how many comments in there? 38. Perhaps somebody enlighten this person as to what the baby steps actually mean, because it did not translate over to this lady's language at all. Chat DMC throwaway. Alrighty. DeLorean motor car. Should I pay off the house again or keep savings for college in an index fund /529? Those are two different steps. And guess what? If you are on steps 4, 5, and 6, you're doing all 3 of those at the same time. Now, here's how it works. And then we'll read this to see if what they have to type changes anything about the general advice, which answers questions for everybody, no matter what your little situation is. But people love to talk about their little situation. That doesn't change the advice. What you're going through here, anything that's happened to you in the past, what your favorite color is, none of that changes the Ramsey advice. So how this works, let's go back to it, shall we? Okay, so you see, back in the early days of the baby steps, you're doing step 1 first only $1,000 to save up. Most people will be able to do that if they stop buying dumb crap and stop adding to their debt. And step 2 is pay off the debt, of course. And then after you've done both of those two, one at a time, then you would be paying off paying yourself in the form of the 3 to 6 months of expenses, and that is your full emergency fund. And you do not invest before that point until you are on step 4, meaning you are completely done with steps 1, 2, and 3. Okay? And see, those are 3 you do one at a time without even, again, thinking about doing any of the higher steps. Stop it. Get the other ones done first. When you get close to being done with baby step 3, then you can plan out all of the rest of your life on step 4, 5, and 6, but that's still too early to think about it as an all of your life plan like people love to do, because things always change. Let's see. Step 4 would be the investing. Okay, so like I was saying, the money that you use would be extra money after you cut your budget and after you sell, like if you sell your 2025 truck that you just bought, like the previous person, then you don't have that truck payment anymore. So guess what? Now you have that much amount of money that you can use to pay off other debt or apply to whatever baby step you're on, which it might be, if that's the only debt, then that would put you on step 3. And so any extra money goes to whatever baby step you're on. So you would put it to baby step 3. Now, once baby step 3 is done, then step 5 is applicable for them. Step 4 is applicable for everybody. And step 6, pay the house off early. If you have a mortgage, that is applicable to you as well. And you do steps 4, 5, and 6 all at the time. So of the extra money that you previously on the baby steps were applying to steps 1, 2, and 3 separately in order, you would then apply that to 4, 5, and 6 in the same at the same time, but in this priority order. So the first priority is invest 15% of gross income. You do not invest 1 penny past 15% of your gross household income until you're on step 7. That's a no. And you know why? You don't do that because, especially for this person, step 5 definitely applies. And so you're talking about saving for kid college. So you would address that. But the thing here is, if they're toddlers, you don't have to put away that much, because the idea would be that you definitely keep investing the 15% your entire life, even in retirement, unless you need that income to live on instead of to invest in retirement, or to continue to invest for your legacy, heirs, whatever. So the 15% of gross income, and then is the definite right there, and then you put anything extra you have to what you need. You can do the math and figure it out. How much money I want to have for this child when they turn 18 to go to college, or 17, whatever. It depends on when their birthday is. And so you can figure that out. You can figure it out with the investment portion as well, and you can get a good ballpark number for that. And then you can divide it by the number of months that is left, that are left. Months are, yeah, the months, number of months that are left before said dear child turns 17 or 18. And so that's how, and then that would get you to the number that you need to put away every week. So again, if they're toddlers, or if they're not born yet, you do not start saving kid college for them. That's a no. You can save general money or for anything, any purpose you want to in step 7, but until then, you are doing putting everything extra to 4, 5, and 6. That doesn't include sinking funds for like new tires or vacation that you plan and put in your budget. That's absolutely fine as well. I'm just talking about you don't have a general slush fund for in case you want to buy something. You instead apply the money to the baby steps. And a long explanation there. Sorry, tired, yawned. So that if they're younger, if they're older, sure, you might have to put all of the money into the college account and not put anything extra on the house. But again, if they're toddlers, you got time to be done with paying off the house possibly, and then you can put the mortgage payment to that kid college if they still have like 5 more years, and you put the mortgage payment into the college fund at that point, then maybe they would be fine at that point. So, but you can do the math on that. But you are supposed to do step 4, 5, and 6. And there have been questions on here. I'm trying to think of I can't really remember. There probably has been a call to the Ramsey show like this. But they were like, the people were like, we don't have enough extra to do. We are on baby steps 4, 5, and 6, and we don't have enough extra to put anything extra on the house if we do 4 and 5. Well, if you don't, then there's a problem. Then you don't make enough income, or something is hiding the problem, which is these people's too expensive house. The people before, not this particular question right here, but the people with the mortgage beforehand with the 30-year mortgage, even that 30-year sounds like it might be a problem, especially now that you're down to the one income. So regardless of settlement, workers' comp settlement. So that's what you got to think about. You gotta make enough money to be able to do steps 4, 5, and 6 at the same time, at least a little bit to each thing. And step 4 is the priority, 15% for retirement. And kid college only if you have a child to do that for. If you're just planning to have kids, you don't do that. You would put everything extra to the house instead. So yes, then you would pay the house off. Again, it depends the situation. And you wouldn't necessarily put it on an index fund, because guess what? There are many managed funds that make more than index funds. Why would you just default to index fund and leave money on the table? People are nutty about investing. Anyway, let's see. My wife and I, both 33 years old, are debt-free at the moment. Besides car payment, then you're not freaking debt-free, dumbass. Oh my goodness. I'm totaling about 40K right now. So in debt-free at the moment, there's no debt-free for the moment. What's that all about? You are not supposed to finance anything. If you have financed it and you want to keep your dumbass car and you can pay it off in 3 years, fine, do it. That's going to take you longer to finish the baby steps. You could sell the vehicle and buy a cheap car cash instead and be further along in your finances. I owe $250,000 on a house right now. The interest rate doesn't matter. I don't care about it. We have about 70K in savings. You need a 3 to 6 months of expenses if you're on step 3, which you're not. You're on step 2 because you have that car payment. So you don't phrase it like you're phrasing it and thinking about it like you're thinking about it. You're trying to be, again, everybody wants to be on a higher baby step than there are. Car payments are baby step 2. It's really easy, so people have no excuse for being dumb. They're just trying to get out of being in a low baby step. And because they don't want to follow the Ramsey advice, which is full of sacrifice, and they don't want to do that. What about $1,000 in a 401k? That's fine. You have step 2 debt. You should not be investing now. So stop it. You don't Not you don't have to take out money of your retirement account. The advice is to never do that except for retirement. So you would not do that to pay off debt, but you would stop contributing, and you would put all that money towards your dumbass car if you want to keep it. That's why I say to pay it off. Then you don't have to do that. I make $190K per year. My wife makes around $40K. I have my older daughter, age 13, and my younger son, age 10, and we're due for another baby soon. Congratulations. I've been fortunate and able to save over the last several years. You're doing it wrong because you have a freaking car payment. You're debt leveraging your transportation and got more transportation than you needed. Got a newer vehicle than you needed. Well, now that you have a third child, I guess you're going to need an SUV instead of the car, right? Need. People don't understand what that means either. We're saving. And over the last several years, and have about $3,000 saved up for or $300,000 saved up for college. $300,000 saved up for college. Do you understand how much of an idiot this sounds like this person is? $40,000 on the car. What was it? $50,000 or something originally. And you have $70K in savings, plus the $300,000 that you put into the college fund. That is so dumb. I mean, I get it. 9 days ago, this was posted. If you only heard about Dave 9 days and 1 second ago, I guess I can give you a little bit of break, but it's still dumb as crap. Most of it is index fund. People love their little index fund. I've already talked about that. But I do have 529s open with some of the... Oh, that's in an index fund and a brokerage account. Oh, yeah. Hey, guess what? You would cash that out and pay off your freaking debt first. Debt comes before babies to college. With some of the money in there as well, with new baby coming, we need to reduce some expenses. Oh, I got a great idea. How about you reduce that car payment to 0 by selling it, you dummy? I also pay child support. Yeah. Hey, baby step 5 again. Why do people look at the baby steps and they just pick the highest thing that they're doing? Even though they should not be doing it, because do you do a step above step 2 when you're on step 2 paying off a car? Do you do anything else? Do you save extra money? Are you investing? Are you saving for kid college? Are you putting extra money on the house? Are you going on dumbass vacations there? And especially, are you financing a freaking car? No, you're not doing any of that stuff. Because it's dumb. And so we don't need, all right, I'll read it anyway. Fine. Let's find what magic things here is gonna change the advice that I just gave there. I have my older daughter, we did that already. With a new baby coming, we need to reduce some expenses. No, you needed to reduce expenses a long time ago. If there was something in your brain that said, I need to finance a $50,000 or so car, then you need to reduce a lot of stuff there. Dumb thinking, mostly. I also pay child support for my older kids since they are from my previous marriage, so that's a factor. You didn't need to explain why child support, obviously coming from their likely older since it was a previous marriage. And also, since it was a previous marriage, that's when child support normally comes about, not a current marriage. My wife is not going to go back to work with the new baby, primarily because we don't have enough family help, and her salary would make the childcare expenses a net negative, most likely. Plus, we want the baby at home, ideally, anyways. Yeah, which is another reason you don't buy an expensive house or a $50,000 car. You're so dumb. I am trying to reduce some of our expenses. Again, I just reduced that entire car payment for you. Sell it, buy a cheap beater. And paying off the cars is an obvious one. Yeah. As far as the 300K I've saved up that I was intending for college, I'm wondering if it makes sense to pay off the house. No. No, no. Quit trying to improve the baby steps. I got a great idea. Why don't you understand the baby steps? Why don't you research them again? Because, I mean, I don't know. I guess people are that dumb where they would look at the baby steps and they would think that they're doing it right by doing step 5 while they're on step 2. While they're doing some step 2 stuff. Oh, but the step you're on is the highest one that you get apply for. No, that's not, or that's applicable to you. That's a no. Bow, 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 bum, 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 bum. My mortgage right now with escrow insurance is $2,700 per month. What are your thoughts on what I should do here? Well, that's in a brokerage account. It doesn't have to go to kids' college, so you could you could pay off the car and pay some on the house, or if you can pay the house off yourself, I mean, you could do that. That's not the Ramsey advice, though. It's to follow the baby steps, and you're doing it wrong, saying that you're on baby step 5 here. You're not. You're doing your own dumb crap, and you're trying to work around it. And the way, it's the way people have. This is the way people have, where they can't afford things, and then they buy, and this is how it always works out too. This is a great example, because this is how it always works out there. They finance the freaking car that might have been $50,000 new, or 45, because it's totaling $40,000 now. Okay. And both parents, both of these adults, were working at the time. And so now, though, we're going down to one income, but you still want to keep all your dumb crap that you shouldn't have even gotten by financing it when there were 2 income people. So that would be the problem, but that's it. People get all of this stuff, and they buy too much stuff even as it is, and then all of a sudden, and I don't have any problem with mom not going back to work, because if it's a net negative to pay daycare, yeah, why would you do that? She could do more with budgeting and coupon clipping and doing better at the grocery store and stuff that she can do at home, better than just breaking even by paying childcare and going to work. But some people do that dumb crap too. And so you got problems. What are your thoughts that reverse the lobotomy, I think? And that's kind of mean, but I don't understand. I realize I'm a certified financial coach, and I probably have more exposure to the Ramsey advice. But again, you look at a list and you're doing something that's on step 2 and you think you're in step 5. So if you're in step 5, why would you even think about paying off the house, which that is what step 6 is? So you're nutty, and your brain works nutty, and I don't understand how it works. But regardless, you're doing it wrong. Definitely finance too much car, because how much are you supposed to finance? Donut. That means 0 amount of dollars in financing a car. And the house, how much did we say on that? And of course, dumb for putting $3,000 in a freaking index fund that you were saying was for college. You were not at that step yet. Again, you were needed to pay off your dumbass car. Whoops. Go back up there. There we go. All right. So that's enough of that one. Quit being dumb is the short answer to all of them, pretty much. Anime Theo. All right. I wonder if that's reference to Theo Vaughn, or maybe Theo is this person. How much do you keep in cash, high yield savings account after emergency fund? And that's a none. That's a none. If you have sinking funds for stuff, you can put that in a high yield savings account, but you are not supposed to have, again, float money, a slush fund rather, that you can just use to pay for stuff if you feel like buying something. Now, the idea is to be intentional, where you say, okay, we're going to go to vacation to this place, and it's going to cost this much, so we need to save up that much so we can go. And that's fine to put in a high yield savings account or keep in cash, whatever you want, but you're not going to be having extra. Now, that doesn't mean, again, you don't have the emergency fund and then only enough in your checkbook to pay the bills until you get paid again. You have to be able to get next to the or you have to be able to get to the next paycheck. So you may have to have extra in your checking account. So that the zero-based budget just accounts for every dollar. It doesn't mean that there's zero in your checkbook after all of the expenses for that month is paid, because again, you might not get paid again before another bill is due. Let's see here. Hi guys, debt free minus mortgage. So that would be step 6 for this person. That I'm paying an extra $600 in the principal per month. I have about $73K in a high yield savings account, a few CDs ranging around $55K total. And again, so many people do this, but you're doing it wrong. Unless that 73 plus $55K is for a specific purpose, like a vacation or for kid college, and you're not used to the ESA or State 529 plan for your baby college. That you can do, but again, just saving to save is not the idea here. So again, once you get to step 4, you can do vacations. That's fine. You put it in the budget and you save up the cash for that. You don't save a ton of money instead of paying off the mortgage. You would pay off the mortgage instead. You are debt leveraging. You already have debt leveraged your mortgage to have all this extra savings. So you did it wrong. You're doing it wrong. And a lot of people do this. Anyways, my emergency fund is about 25, 30K. 30 if you really want to be conservative. If you really, really want, what I really, really want. I really, really want you to do the Ramsey baby steps. Post that. That means after that. How much do you guys keep in cash, liquid to spend for fun, other stuff? Now that's different. If it's fun money, that should be in your budget per month. It's not a slush fund to buy fun stuff whenever you feel like it. That's a no. That happens on step 7 only. You need to be intentional with your money and get to step 7 first. So you would be paying off the house instead of doing this dumb bull crap. Versus invest. You would not invest more than 15% until the house is paid off. Let's check the baby steps to make sure that's correct. Oh, hey, look, it says invest 15% of your household income and retirement. It doesn't say, but more if you feel like it, or if you want to debt leverage your freaking mortgage. It does not say to do that anywhere on here. On step 7, you can do whatever you want except go into a lower baby step, and investing more on step 7 does not put you in a lower baby step. That is what you're exactly allowed to do. That is part of the building wealth and giving a lot of it away is all about. like outside the monthly budgets and paychecks. Update, well, keeping it all in the high yield savings account at this time as I became today unemployed. So yay. All right. Well, that's not a yay, but yeah, you wouldn't be trying to spend that money now. You would be chilling about that. Also, forgot to mention about the couple expecting a new child. You would be paused on the baby steps and not do anything with money other than, I mean, you could still sell the car, but you're not supposed to be spending or paying extra on debt. But selling the car would be a net positive, so I will allow you to do that. When to seek out a financial advisor. This is from Minimalist Fin 88. When to seek out a financial advisor. Does anyone here use a smart investor or other financial advisor? If so, yeah, I do. His name is Dave Ramsey. If so, when did you decide to seek one out? I've seen a few smart investors in my area that are fee only. Okay. But none that do flat fee or hourly. I thought most of them did a percentage of what they make for you, what their investment advice makes for you. But none that do that flat fee or hourly. For those with AUM advisors, are you seeing real benefits for the cost? If you don't know about investing, if you don't know how to do it, if you can't use the internet to figure everything out like I did and do it yourself, then yes, it's worth every penny to have somebody that knows what they're doing. Now, unfortunately, when you pay somebody that knows what they're doing to do stuff, they can always rip you off because you have no idea. And so that is possible even with endorsed local providers, because they can get vetted by the Ramsey team and they can say all the right things when they're being vetted. And then they can then like this person, this financial advisor, one of these smart investors could be recommending bonds or target date funds or something like that for a 20-year-old. And that's just not the Ramsey advice. So, and they would do it, and whole life insurance, which of course is not recommended by Mr. Ramsey. And they do that because that makes them the most money and not the client the most money. So if you cannot learn about it yourself, then yeah, you need to pay somebody to do that. Hopefully you get somebody, and that's why you do have to learn at least enough so you know if they're telling you the right stuff. How much do you make to have your wife stay at home with the kids? You personally, okay? That never happened for me, so I do not know. And really dumb question to ask, because that somebody in California doesn't have to make the same amount for wife to stay home that somebody in Ohio does, even if they do have the same cost freaking house. That's stupid. Who's this? Sup Gee. Don't know what that is, but dumb. Establishment. Yeah, you can't do it. You can't do that because states and people's incomes, yeah, they're different. So it's not an amount that you're looking for that you have to make. You would have to figure that out from your own finances. How much do you have to make to spend, to cover your expenses? Where you live now. How much do you have to make to do it by yourself? Instead of asking, oh my goodness gracious, 1.3 thousand people commented that stuff. Oh, and it has been closed, of course. I wonder if other people called this person dumb too, because it or most of them said, it depends on what state you live in and what your expenses are, how many kids you have, and blah, 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 blah. Any number of things could affect it. Establishment that 842 paid off my last student loan today. Excellent. Too shy for a debt-free scream or doing a debt-free post instead. So doing a debt-free post instead. Now 100% debt-free. Words of encouragement and advice. Welcome for next step. Well, that's great. Hopefully that was the last. It says debt-free, so totally debt-free, I guess. Great. So you're on step 3, and step 3 is much more fun than step 2, because in step 2, you know all that money you were sending to the student loan, the lender? You know all that money? Now, you still have to send it somewhere, but guess that what? It's to yourself in the form of your emergency fund, because you're on step 3 now. So, I mean, and it just gets more fun from here. So, unless, of course, again, that you are spending too much money where you don't have enough money to do steps 4, 5, and 6 all at the same time, even after you get done with step 3. And if you are spending too much money on stuff, bought too much house, or too expensive cars, even if you did pay cash, then you can't do that. You're out of luck. Sorry. Baby step 2, which one first? Tax, medical, credit cards. Let's go ahead and open the entire post. How about that? Baby step 2, which one first? Well, first comes love, then comes marriage. Let's see. Tax, medical, credit card. Family members on baby step 2 and trying to decide what to pay first. It is normally, it's going to be smallest to largest. The second thing that comes into play here is taxes. If you owe your local or state or country government money, that goes to the top of the debt snowball, always. You do not want to owe the IRS anything. Withholding error resulted in a tax bill already late. Yep, medical emergency with high deductible led to medical debt. And lifestyle choices led to credit card debt. Yeah, screwed up all kinds of places. Regardless of the amounts due, in what order should it be paid? Okay, so here's what you're asking on the Dave Ramsey subreddit. You have baby step 2 in the title, but you don't want to hear anything about order as far as amount. The debt snowball, which it says right here, says debt snowball. See it where it says debt snowball? That means smallest to largest. And now what trumps that, though, is owing Trump. Well, he's the president, so I guess it's not directly to him. It's you owe the country that much, you owe the government that much. And so, yeah, you got to pay it because you screwed up with the withholding error, or somebody you pay to do your taxes, or your company, or whatever. I don't know if you have any recourse against the company, or if you paid somebody to do your taxes. I don't know if you have any recourse of that, but you could look into it. Maybe you can get them to kick in some of it or something like that. Where are we at? So yeah, this one. Regardless of the amounts due, in what order should it be paid? Smallest to largest, with the exception of the tax, it goes first. My recommendation is tax, consumer debt, medical. What would Dave recommend? He would recommend that you follow the freaking baby steps. And baby step 2, which you reference right here, says specifically the debt snowball, which is smallest to largest. And again, we do have the exception here that if it's the government you owe, taxes that you owe, that goes at the first. That goes at first in the list. And again, I mean, this is not, rocket surgery, which is Dave combining, and other people have done that other than Dave too, I believe. But Dave combining rocket science and brain surgery. into one thing because it means it's not that difficult to understand. Working maximum 5218. Should HSAs be used as investment only? No. No, it depends on. It depends what it would be. It can be used as an extra tax deferred, tax advantage investment. But in order to do that, what you would have to be able to do is first you got to have a high deductible. What's that called? Medical insurance plan. You have to have that first, or you can't even do HSA. But if you have that, you can do the HSA, and then you also have to be able to, at that point, you have to be able to cash flow all of the medical stuff, all of it. Because you're not using the health savings account to pay for it, you're leaving everything in the health savings account to continue to grow. So it should not be used for an investment only unless you're meaning to use it as an investment only. Meaning that, again, you have to cash flow it. Let's see. Spouse and I can't get on the same page. Maybe somebody doesn't understand. Maybe one of you doesn't understand the little bit of knowledge I just laid out. We both have HSAs through our employment, but spouse bristles. Bristles is fun back vocab at the idea of using them. It's only one idea, but it's using them. So you don't, because it's more than one, you don't change idea to ideas. It's the same idea. It applies to both things. Gave you in capitalizing spouse. Maybe you love the spouse, so I'll let that one go. And props for using bristles, but this ideas of using them was dumb. For actual medical bills because of the investment opportunities. Yeah, why? Did you ask why? There's a budget for medical bills, but it hasn't always helped. Would it be bad? Yeah, see, you have to be able to cash flow medical stuff to use it like that, and that means you got to plan for that. That means you got to have enough money, and if you don't have enough money, guess what? Then you have to use the HSA. Quit being dumb. That's logic. Why can't you figure that out? Even if you aren't really investment literate or financial investment, you understand medical bills have to be paid and the money has to come from somewhere. So it's either in the HSA already, or it's money that you would put in the HSA, or other money that you have. You have to have the money to pay. Would it be better to just pay out more out of pocket on medical bills? That is how it works. You pay out of pocket to leave the investment alone inside the HSA where it continues to grow, and you do not use it to pay medical bills. You pay that out of pocket. Or is there any sensibility in using HSAs for their intended purpose? Yeah, because you still get tax deferment on that. It's tax advantage, so you do get that advantage even if you do use it to pay off or to pay medical stuff as well. I will note that we have some medically complex kids, and the insurance combined with copay costs make the HSA a preferred way to go for the time. Why did it make me have ellipsis there? Did it? I don't know. Shouldn't have had it. Oh, it didn't have ellipsis there. I just clicked on it anyway. Okay. I thought I saw. Yeah, I thought I saw. I was just seeing things. Thought I was seeing. So right now I'm seeing little dots there. I don't know what that is. Maybe this monitor's dirty. Or dementia. Early reindeer 5544. What would you do? Would you use all your money left over monthly to pay extra on a car payment and save later when you finish the loaner? What do you mean loaner? When you finish paying off the loan, is that what you mean? Or or just continue paying your car and save at the same time? No, you do not save at the same time. So you see, so again, unless you have a screw loose or something, unless you're nutty or you're just not even trying to understand the baby steps, this says $1,000 is step one. Start emergency fund, right? It says $1,000. Doesn't say to save an extra cent beyond that until you're done with step two. See, it says pay off all debt. It doesn't say, oh, and save extra, keep saving extra as you pay off debt. It does not say that on here. You're dumb, sir. And also, you have people too that if they have more than $1,000, they think they just got a head start on baby step three, but that's not how it works either. You take everything beyond $1,000 out of your little account and you send it to your debt to pay that off quicker. You're doing it wrong. You're thinking about it wrong, and I've had enough of you people. Let's see here. I have 60 months left. No, you don't. You do not have 60 months. You have to sell the car if it's going to take you 60 months to pay it off. If you're going to follow the Ramsey advice. If you're not going to follow the Ramsey advice, what the heck are you doing on the Dave Ramsey subreddit? I don't understand why you would do that. I used one of those pay off a loan early calculator and said I would pay it off in 14 months. That is acceptable. If I pay an extra $1,500, that's acceptable. You could also sell it and get a beater instead. Very cheap car you buy with cash. My goal is to save some type of down payment to buy some type of property. That's a no on that. The only mortgage allowed is for a residence of yours, not for investment property. I'll just thinking of different scenarios that would be best. Okay, so you have a car payment right now. You have to get rid of the car payment and be done with step 3 before you think about starting any kind of business or buying a house. You have to be done with step 3. So no car payment, and you also have the full emergency fund before you start investing or before you start trying to start a business. You do not do that. Best case is maybe you don't wait to start the business until you're in baby step 7, especially if it takes any kind of cash to get that thing going. If it's going to be a rental property company, that's going to take some cash to get going, because again, you do not buy houses, finance them with mortgages to rent out. That's a no. That's debt leverage. That's a no from the good Mr. Ramsey there. Alrighty, so the next time, when am I going to be on? Tomorrow night? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Sunday night. Yeah, I'm off tomorrow. Sunday night at 9. Yeah, almost assuredly there'll be another answering your financial questions, and so we'll get into these questions. How much house do you think we can afford? The short answer is keeping to the 15%. I mean the 15-year fixed rate mortgage. It's about 2.5 times your annual income. So if it's more than that, or if you have to get a 30 to be able to afford the payment, then you can't. That means you can't afford it. That means you're buying too much house. And we'll get into the nitty gritty and the details that people think matter all the time. They don't. Helping judging my monthly money budgeting. Can't wait to do that. Can't wait to do that. And where people say they need something that they do not need. Practical environment. Moving on to baby step 2. Excellent. That means a crushed. I'm sure mostly everyone crushed baby step 1 ages ago. I'm feeling great. I was able to fully fund baby step 1 today. Hey man, you cannot start the Ramsey baby steps before you start them. You start them on the day. So whatever you did. And there's new people on this all the time, and there's people that aren't even doing the baby steps right. So you're doing better than them so far, at least. And we got help, but there's no dots there either, so it just says help. So that's dumb as crap. People love to be dumb. Thank God for my emergency fund. That's why it's there. Probably, we'll see. Does Dave Ramsey method for getting out of debt still apply if you are financially responsible? Yes, there's still no debt. And some would say if you have non-mortgage debt that you are not financially responsible. And I am one of those people, probably Mr. Ramsey as well. Grandparents gifted $1,200 to my newborn. What is the best way to invest? All right, there's there's multiple things going on with that when that happens. And so we'll talk all about that. They get quite a few calls about that as well, about that basic general thing that somebody gives money for a baby and what do parents do with it. And of course, if you're in baby step 1, you would apply it to baby step 1. You don't think that helps out the child? It helps out the child. If you're in baby step 2, you apply that money to baby step 2. You don't think that helps out the child? That helps out the child. Gets rid of that debt. All right, and ditch those retail apps. Now here is what I'm going to say about that. Do I have any retail ones? I'm trying to think if I have any retail ones. I don't. I had Walmart app for a little while on my phone, but I didn't really use it. I prefer doing Walmart shopping on the website anyway. But yeah, I didn't really use it, and I imagine that the reasoning for the question is that if you have the app, you're going to spend more money than you normally would. And of course, we don't get credit cards with the excuse that I'm only going to spend stuff that I would normally spend anyway. It's only unnecessary things that I would be buying with cash anyway, so why not get the points? This is a different story here for that, and we will get into that tomorrow. But I don't let it, for example, I don't let the app convince me to buy anything unless it is at, like at the restaurants, I set a particular price that I'll pay for something. And if it's a sale item or something like that, or on special or something like that, or a bonus or whatever they call it on their app, then I will do that. They don't really have that on the Chick-fil-A app, which I do have. They do give away chicken sandwiches occasionally, and it's free. And so every once in a while, if I'm doing that, I may get a fry as well. But that just comes out of my food money. And so again, it's just, and this of course recommended to do if you have the Amazon app or go on the Amazon website, and you have credit cards you're paying off, and even your debit card, you take those numbers out so it's not so easy for you to spend on there. And so with the apps and the websites, it's easier to spend, of course, but I'm not going to do that. But definitely anybody that would spend more money or money they don't have by having a retail app, definitely don't then. And again, for me, they're not necessary. I just use the website to look for stuff. Once again, Coach Steve Money, Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And if you have money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, or you're not misinterpreting the baby steps like so many people seem to do, You can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me by emailing coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Schedule changes too much to use a website. That email again, coachstevemoney@gmail.com, and that's also for financial question. Anything you have to ask about financial coaching, I'll be more than happy to answer to you, or anything on my website. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney, CashApp $CoachSteveMoney, or Walmart gift card to that same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, this probably has, that says all the ones this past week that I missed. I think the only one I did was Monday morning after show, I believe I did that one. The Thursday one I did not make because I changed shifts and worked in the morning. I believe that's how that worked. And yeah, on the 24th, answer your financial question stream, 8 p.m. Let's see what it says. Tuesday, I can't remember if I did that one or not. I don't think so. But I am doing one that I didn't announce, I guess, on today's the 26th. All right. And I'll have this changed by tomorrow's answering your financial questions. Again, that's 8 p.m. And that would be on, what day is that again? That would be the Sunday, and July 27th, 2025. And that is 8 p.m. Eastern time. Alrighty, thanks so much for, and on the next after show, it's going to be Monday morning. And so if that's the 27th, that will be Monday the 28th, Monday morning, 11:05. And I will explain why there is a jersey hanging right there. Fun story for that. Answering your financial questions, I generally just do the questions and don't get into anything else, and so I'm saving that for the after show. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. Thanks so much if you've done any of those. Thanks so much. And if you haven't, please consider. Alrighty, as always, make smart financial decisions every day.